Ken Trahan, Lenny Vangilder, SportsNola.com. It's our first NBC weekend review and weekday preview. Hope you had a good weekend. It was a good weekend of sports again. Of course, today in the news, the appeals process with the Saints players and the former Saints players continues, and the vitriolic language continues between the players toward the NFL and Roger Goodell in particular. I still don't think anything's going to change, Lenny, but it's obvious that these guys are going to press this issue to the end.
Well, one of the things that I think we're going to see come out today is some of the information that the NFL had to provide to the players as part of this appeals process. We're going to see some of those documents coming out, and I think that's part of what they wanted to do, is get some information out there, and if there's really nothing to some of these things, then, if nothing else, the Saints, which had seemingly lost the PR battle back in March and April, the tide may be turning a little bit. And these are players involved in it, not the Saints organization, but that whole 30,000-foot picture of it, the Saints may be starting to win the PR battle a little bit, and it's a small victory. It's not going to get Sean Payton back on the field this year, but it could still be a victory nonetheless. Just one of these things we have to stay tuned, and obviously we'll have all the latest right here at SportsNola.com, so stay with us.
Hope you got all of that. Plus, there was a text exchanged that involved Mike Ornstein and Greg Williams, and Ornstein is involved in this, and clearly the text indicated that there was no money exchanged. So stay tuned for that. You never know how much of that is posturing and how much of it is fact, but this thing continues to evolve. Speaking of football, there will continue to be arena football. That's good for the league. It's good for New Orleans Voodoo fans. Voodoo got a big win in Cleveland this past weekend. They'll play at Orlando this Friday night as Labor and the owners agreed to new terms, which were not revealed, but it's a multi-year deal, and that will put this thing to bed for a while.
Yeah, and it's been ongoing throughout the season, literally from the day the season opened. It has kind of gone back and forth, kind of come to a head here in the last couple of weeks, but coming to a resolution this weekend is big news.
Zephyrs get a win. Of course, we'll keep following them and watching them closely now during this time of the year in particular. And then, of course, the NBA Championship Series. I picked Miami in 6. If that's going to happen, they'll have to win 3 straight now. Not Miami, Oklahoma City I picked in 6. But if that's going to happen, they'll have to win 3 straight now because Miami leads 2-1, and they lead because of several factors. I think the experience factor, because I still think Oklahoma City has the better players, and the fact that Oklahoma City can't make free throws, which is astonishing since they were the best free throw shooting team in the league.
Well, you got a team in Miami that was there last year. Yes, they failed miserably when they were clearly the favorites in that series against Dallas, but they've been through this once before and know what they have to do to get this done. And interesting stat that somebody brought up: in the last 20 years, only twice in the last 20 years has a team, the first team to win 2 games in a series, failed to win the series. Both times, it involved the Miami Heat. It happened last year. It happened 5 years prior to that. So maybe that's a good sign for Oklahoma City yet.
We'll see. And then, of course, the U.S. Open. Congratulations to Webb Simpson. He went out and posted the score and then watched guys that just couldn't perform down the stretch. Boy, it was really shocking to see Jim Furyk collapse the way he did with the kind of consistent player that he is and the experience that he has. And, of course, the local flavor was enormous. Peterson played great. Toms was there the whole time. And obviously, a young man that attended Tulane gave a real threat to this thing and came up 1 shot short. If he makes a putt or 2, he's there.
Yeah, Michael Thompson was terrific. Spent 2 years at Tulane before transferring after when Hurricane Katrina hit, when they shut down the golf program. But yeah, all of those guys at Louisiana Ties represented himself. Hey, one other thing. We think back a year ago to the Zurich Classic, 2011. 2 guys in a playoff.
Yeah.
You had Bubba Watson beating Webb Simpson in a playoff. And who were our first 2 major winners this year? Bubba Watson, Webb Simpson. Horse racing parlance, it would be talked about as a key race. Watch the horses coming out of that race. Maybe those guys who finished 3rd in last year's tournament might be the guys to win the next major.
Well, if you want to take it a step further, Ernie Els and Jason Duffner, who were in a playoff this past year at the Zurich, had a real shot at this thing too.
Exactly. So maybe these guys need to look at this and say, hey, this helps us get ready for majors. Yeah,
let's come play New Orleans, right?
Exactly.
And then last but not least, the Hornets with a workout today. I think it's pretty important.
I would think so, yeah. We'll see here today and tomorrow. Apparently we're going to see Anthony Davis out there on the floor with his only workout. And I don't think whatever happens out there isn't probably going to change the Hornets' mind as to what they're going to do. I think they know what they're going to do at this point, as does the free world, basically. I think they're still trying to decide how they're going to deal with number 10. Are they going to trade out of the pick? Are they going to make a pick? Are they going to go small? Are they going to go big? Exactly how are they going to deal with number 10? That's probably the most important decision at this point.
Fun sports week to come. Lenny, it's been a pleasure.
We'll talk to you Friday.
And, of course, we appreciate you being with us today. Have a great week. For First NBC Bank, I'm Ken Trahan.